So good evening. This is September 22nd, and it's 5:35. I'd like to call the regularly scheduled Board of Water Commissioners meeting for September 22nd to order.
There's the echo.
There's an echo. That's okay. This meeting is being recorded. Got it. Is there any public comment? So on our agenda, we have public comment. Oh yeah, okay.
You have to use the chat feature.
Yeah, if anybody has public comment, please open your chat feature if you've been using Zoom and type in your questions or comments, and we'll be happy to address them. Tonight we have Commissioner Robinson here, myself, Commissioner Hoppenstead, Superintendent Wiseman, and Office Manager Nash. Commissioner Horsley is trying to join through the Zoom. He's tied up with some other events, so we'll hope that we get his input on a number of things here. So back up to the agenda, we have public comment to start with. Is there any public comment? We'll give you guys a second to open chat if you'd like to. I can't see the chat on here. Jen, can
Horsley and no chat.
no chats at this time. So Commissioner Horsley is joining us now. So great. So we have a whole contingent of commissioners and office professionals. First thing on the agenda was a public comment. We've gone through that and haven't been able to hear anything. Don't have any public here. So the next order of business is our review and approval of prior meeting minutes. Hi, Scott.
Hey, my apologies.
We won't be able to hear you.
Oh,
So if you
okay.
have things to share, it'd be great if you could use the chat feature. Thank you.
I might be able to turn it up.
Or you can call in. So you can call into a phone if we have.
All right.
So on the minutes, Mr. Chair, we talked about the staining of the West Street tank, and I was concerned about that. I went over there yesterday to see it worse.
Yeah.
Just in a month, I think.
Yeah, the humidity is.
But again,
amazing.
as long as we don't think it's a structural issue, it's just an aesthetic issue, I'm happy to do nothing. There was something in the minutes about that the superintendent would check into the cost of repainting. I'm not sure that's what we talked about.
I was supposed to call Tinnick and find out if it really was degrading, and if so, what they suggested and everything else. I failed on that.
Okay. Well, I know I wasn't expecting. In fact, I don't even think it needs to be repainted. I think we just want to reassure ourselves and the ratepayers, taxpayers, that this isn't going to cause any deficit in the metal. I think it's just a surface annoyance, and it will annoy me.
And me as well.
Because I don't think it reflects well on our superstructure. But anyway, infrastructure. But I don't think there's anything that needs to be done. I'm certainly not going to spend $16,000 every year just to clean it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we do have to paint it, which may not be for another decade, who knows? That's when we'll address this issue.
I have to call to get them inspected anyways, do a sanitary survey. I believe they should be coming in and doing regular surveys on them, that they don't get into chipping and everything else right now, but they'll take a good look at the structure and tell me what they believe too.
Yeah. So I just would like to amend that to say that just not to include the phrase about getting a cost of repainting, because I don't think that's warranted at this point. And I'm not sure we discussed, I'm not sure that was the conclusion we came to. I guess is what I'm saying.
Will be, so it says that to discuss that this is not a structural issue, and Superintendent Wiseman will investigate the cost of repainting. I think it was to investigate the cost or the need for repainting.
To investigate whether it was a structural issue. I think that's what I was trying to get across. I don't know that it's a structural issue or not, but I was trying to indicate that's all we really need to do. It's just to assure ourselves it's not a structural issue.
Yeah, I agree. I concur, and that's what I recall as well.
So with
So,
that amendment, if you'd accept it, I would move approval of the minutes. Unless there are others.
so Commissioner Horsley, the minutes have been moved for approval. Do you have other comments? Would you second? He seconds that. Any other discussion? I think we're all set. So vote to approve. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye. And Scott approves. Okay. Just gonna sign this. Okay, next on the agenda is our water quality report.
All right, guys. We did take all our total coliform samples for the month of August. They all came back clean. We took our secondary samples also, and we did get results. Our manganese is pretty much the same as it was the last time we took it, which I believe was last year. So even with the less water that we're pulling out of the ground right now, it seems to be around the same. Everything else looked pretty consistent there also. We did take the sodium at those 3 sites again, and that's in the sodium report that we have here in front of you. We also took byproducts, our chlorine byproduct testing, and we have not got the results on those yet. They've always been historically low, but they haven't been a concern to us in the past. I don't expect them to be now. And I did send in my results for the PFAS substitution for the October testing, which would mean we'd start in January and use those as a substitution, the ones we took last year. The first set that we took, not the second. Any question on water quality?
So on the sodium, Chris, the Main Street test site is 414. Is that the old tank site? Where you have that above ground?
Yes, that's where we've been cleaning up there, 414, yeah.
And then the other ones are at the tanks.
Yeah, West Street's over by the schools, into it's behind us, yeah.
It's interesting that both Santuit and West Street went down quite a bit. And Main Street, it went up a little from last month, but
It's been consistently though around that area for the 4
right
months in a
around
row.
the
Yeah.
low 20s.
But the others have seen it, and I don't know if it's because we're using, a lot more water before it hit the tanks. And maybe it's, working its way out. I wish I could get it. I'm not a chemist, so I really don't know, but as long as I will be doing, we have done already these samples this month. And we have on the schedule next month to do our inorganics, which is going to be doing our stations.
Okay.
If you want, I'll continue to, I could see about doing these also when we do the stations, to see if there's any difference between what's coming out of the ground and what's at these locations. I think I've already decided that when we do the, when we do the inorganics, we're also going to see of doing a raw water, just to
We
see.
talked about that.
Yeah, we were talking about doing a raw, and I think that's how we get the bottles. So we can do 5 raw and 5 just coming out of the station to see what we're putting in, see what the difference is. Last time we did it, it wasn't a huge difference, but very minimal if anything. But we're gonna do it that way again. We have the bottles, it's just a matter of hopefully not something coming up on the day when we want to do it.
Mhm. Yeah, and that makes sense to me because we are adding chemicals, for
Right.
chlorine and sodium, right?
Yeah.
To the water to as part of our treatment process. So when you do the inorganics, that'll be next month. You're gonna do and that's raw sample.
We're supposed to do the inorganics starting next month, which I might not have the results by the next meeting, but at least the tests will be done.
Okay. So you'll pull sodium at that same time.
It's part of that, yeah, part of the organics is sodium. So we'll pull the raw sodium at the same time.
Okay.
Scott has noted here that you'll be reporting the
Yep.
soil protection, and this will include an evaluation of black log data and associated.
Okay, any additional questions?
What was he saying?
Can you see those chats?
No.
No, the chat's not coming up on ours, sorry, unless maybe it might.
I was at one point. Oh, yeah, there we go. We gotta do that.
Oops, more?
First, you can do gallery view if you want to, and then you can also do. Yep, there's
Chat, top, okay. Source protection. Yeah, that Scott has just put in on that he's been sitting down with a gentleman from Mass Rural Water, and he has some interns that are going to source water protection. That's one of the questions that they were talking about. I think one of the interns they were going to put on sodium, different things.
Right. That's super.
Thank you.
Is that it for water quality?
That's it for water quality, yes.
How about superintendent's report?
That too. Where'd that go? Put it away. I do not have my superintendent's report, I don't believe. I can tell you.
What's it look like? Maybe it's in one of these other packets.
No, I had it on top of here, and I think what I did is I cleaned it out afterwards. And I thought I put it away in here, but I think that's the sodium one. No, that's for you. I think I put it on top of this here piece of paper, and then I took it out to write on here before I left. I think it's sitting on my desk back in my office, to tell you the truth. And I zipped this thing up. I can tell you that we pumped roughly 12 million gallons less than we did last year.
And I saw that in one of the charts.
Yeah, it's roughly 12 million less.
For August.
Yes, for August. Which is quite a drop. Again,
But consistent.
yes,
with
it's
June,
consistent with
July.
what's going on. We did have one new replacement service go in over on Old Post Road. This one new because the other one was done on the first of the month it finished. So I'll have to put that in the next report. We had two water main breaks, which not service main. We had actually a radial crack that was quite large in the intersection over on Thankful Lane and Hopewell. And it was out in the middle, and it just ran down and came out way down the road about 20 to 30 feet. So we had to follow it all the way back. We had to do a huge patch down there to take out a ton of concrete, tar, bituminous concrete, and had to reach to it and everything else. I don't know if you saw her in the, it was quite a large paving bill in the minutes and everything. Yeah, and that was because of how big the patch was that we had to chase the leak back for. But you can't tell sometimes if it's not making the right amount of noise. It was just clay and it wasn't vibrating enough. There was a lot of sand moving, and it was actually half of it was just cracked all the way around. When we exposed it, it just started squirting straight up in the air, and then a sprinkler going off. And we couldn't, we had to keep running around trying to get everything down and open some hydrants down and everything. But we had that one, and then not 2 weeks later, we had a linear crack at a joint. And I'll show you pictures later, but it cracked down the side and went like, it looked like a question mark on it. It was weird at the end point, but it had a pinhole leak that it wore the metal away, like the size of almost like a baseball or a pin out and wide and coming out, and it just had been leaking for a long time. If you could see what it did to the metal, you'd be like, what? You didn't think it that much. That's how powerful it can be and everything. We had both of those. That was down on Dana Court, down in Cuba Bay Shores.
How do we typically find
How do we find those? Somebody calls up and says there's water pouring out of the ground someplace.
So it'll always come up to the surface.
Yeah, it eventually will come up to the surface, like with the one over on Dana Court.
It must have
been going just that real small leak, sandy over there, so it was just going into the ground far enough away that, and not making enough noise that when we were doing leak detection, we couldn't hear it. But it developed finally, it got a little bigger, and then it went cracked, and he said, okay, it's time, and it came up in the middle of this guy's driveway. He said, you know, I just got all this water pouring out the end of my driveway. We walked over there, and all of a sudden, there's a hole about the size of, you know, a person just dropped down in his driveway and disappeared, and I'm like, whoa. It was just going down, bloop, 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 falling in, like it was just disappearing down the road.
Wow.
We were both quite large. I was surprised. I haven't seen them like that in a while. And that one that had the linear crack, I've never seen anything like that. And there you
I
go.
have pictures.
Yes.
So that's the linear. one.
Yeah, that's where, in the crack, you can see he kind of goes like a question mark around there from the top.
It
Yeah.
does.
Totally smooth.
Yeah.
What's that? Is that ceramic?
That is cast
Iron.
That's cast.
Yeah.
It's totally.
It's just wet there. Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
So it happens at a joint though.
Yeah, it happened, it's right around the joint there where the two pieces met, and it might have started with something like that, like something might have got in there, and they might have cracked it a little bit or something, because when it was around going on the cul-de-sac, somebody might have tried to pull the piece of pipe without putting we ended up fixing it by putting an 11.5 bend on it in that area, and it lined right up perfect, so somebody should have put a bend on there, and they didn't years ago.
So this is pipe that's been in place for a long time.
Correct. Infrastructure.
Yeah, we might.
Yeah.
Think about that.
We did also, we're still in a drought, believe it or not. It was declared in, at the end of August, I guess they still continued it. We have gone up to probably about the 35th, 40% percentile, get back from where we were at the 25th. We did get quite an improvement after Ida came through. It is starting to drop and go back up, but it has dropped a little, but it's starting to go up again. Every time we have a rainstorm, it helps out a little more. So we are actually looking better, but you have to be consistent for a little while before they'll pull that drought all the way. So we'll see.
I think I read today that the Cape is considered a mild drought, and the rest of the state was not drought.
Yeah. The rest of the state's been fine. For some reason, there's been a bubble Cape Cod all year.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of times in the summer, Boston will get a lot of rain. We didn't, we just get gray.
Yeah. John right now is both taking 2 classes for his extended license. Last month I reported that he had passed both his D1 and T1. Now he's taking classes to do his D2 and T2 right now.
God, he's an ambitious young man.
Oh, he is very ambitious, yes. He enjoys it. Knowledge is power. We are actually, everybody will be except for Jen. Jen will be alone if anybody wants to go visit her tomorrow. For a while. I'll be there a little bit in the morning, but there's gonna be a trade show tomorrow for the Ossipee County Waterworks Association, and the guy's gonna be there in the morning on hydrant class. And then we'll be there. I'll be there for the rest of it in the afternoon.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see, and they both Matt and Jan signed up for a couple classes that are coming up, math. I had signed up for one, but it's been canceled since then. So we are keeping on going. Just a quick note on the class that John took. They're pretty expensive classes that he's taken, but one of them that he took, because he is still considered a student at Cape Cod Community College. He's taking night classes there,
Yep.
and is fully enrolled still. He got it for free
Oh, good.
because it's $1,000 class. Just about, you got it for free. So yeah, I think it's $857 or something like that. $900. Yeah.
His last rank was $200,000.
Right. And let's see, there was one last thing on there, and
So we have John with 2 certifications, and then you said that they're doing some, was it a math classes?
everybody's taking some class tomorrow. Hydrant classes in the morning, and they're gonna take a hydrant class tomorrow. Yeah. I had wrote one more thing down. I can't remember it now. I had it in my head.
So we got the pumpage, we got the new services, the repairs, the mains, and training.
I think about it. I'll let you know. It wasn't anything real important. It wasn't anything you guys asked me to check up on or anything.
Go ahead, just finish, Chris, and I have a question.
Okay, and we did do some more cleanup over there in the last couple of days over at 414 Main. Not only Commissioner Robinson has complained in the past, but somebody else came up while they were mowing over there and made some notice. So about 20 tires disappeared from over there. There's still a couple small stuff that were in between things that they couldn't get to. But we took about 20 out of there and brought them to the dump a couple days ago.
Great.
Yeah.
And those tires were where the old tower was?
Yeah, they were where the
Dumped them
gate
there?
was. Somebody pulled back there and dumped them probably about 20 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Some of them were older than that. Some of them had rims
They're all
on them. Some of them
covered.
didn't.
Good, get them out.
Yeah.
Super.
It looks good. It's good. It's starting to green up a little bit.
Yeah.
Spots.
That's what I have for now, until further.
I did
Commissioner
find out
Robinson?
that the AmeriCorps is back to accepting group projects.
Oh, good.
I didn't fill out the application for my vacation, but I'll do that before the end of the month, so. I'll make a note. I did have a question about the pumpage. So dramatic decreases continuing the year-over-year pumpage for the summer months. I don't know if it's a trend, but I think that because we're talking a lot about water conservation and the rates, some of this must be rubbing off. It can't just be the fact that this was a wetter summer, because I don't think it was.
No.
So something is giving somewhere, and hopefully it's the kind of collateral education we've been doing.
Yeah.
About the need to conserve water and that the demand is going to be costly. As people don't take some kind of measures to conserve. So I think it's a good thing. We'll see as time goes on, get more comparisons.
Yeah, I would second that. I would echo that. I've got several comments that walked up to me when I've been working outside in my yard and such, or out for walks as well, and said that they were pleased that we were letting people know to conserve water, and they were in fact conserving water. And then they have suggestions about what we should do to help people conserve their water, and they happen to be right in line with what we're doing with the new regulations. So I think it's being helpful, but I love to see it happen in this voluntary approach.
Yeah.
But I have had several people that have said, "Hey, you should just pass more laws and ban watering altogether." And that's an interesting approach, but I think with people's investments in property, it's not. I don't see that as realistic.
Mr. Chairman, I like this format. We can see Scott nodding his head, but we don't have to actually listen to him.
I would concur. All right, so this is, now we've got the water rate increase notice here.
So that will be going out.
And Scott, sorry you're not here for that, but
I'm sorry, the October one and the bills, so that.
that's great. And it fit very nicely on there. They did a great printing job. And we have the essential food preparation organizations reductions, which is another thing that people have asked me about, which is very nice. That we do that for the village to make sure that we don't lose any businesses or cause them any undue harm. So I think that looks great. So when is that going out?
October minimum use bills will mail by the 15th.
Okay. Yep.
And then I'll send them to anybody who's getting billed.
Well, another good job at communicating with the public, keeping people in the loop. That's great. Anything else for the superintendent's report at this point? Any questions on that? Any questions in the chat?
Oops, what's something new?
Okay. All right, so we're into old business, we're moving right along. Irrigation regulation, fines and enforcement amendment, and our source water protection plan. So let's tackle that irrigation regulation. We did adopt the meat of that regulation, but deferred till a later date, which is now, I would think, on the fines and enforcement amendments. So Jen put the revisions that Commissioner Robinson made, I believe, into this regulation. And so that's where we want to focus our attention, on the fines and enforcement. I think that was that the only place that everything else was adopted, right? We changed some wording, did some wordsmithing, but we adopted it as we went at the last meeting. So, Commissioner Horsley, do you have a copy of that fines and enforcement section in front of you? You could look at that. Commissioner Robinson wrote it, so he knows it quite well. So,
He said he already moves to.
Did we accept Commissioner Robinson's?
okay, that was from Scott. One thing I had on it, and I'm open for discussion, obviously, but on the unpermitted installation of in-ground irrigation system section under part 3, failure to comply with the removal within the specified compliance period will result in possible shut-off. Will result in possible shut-off. Will it result in shut-off?
So may result in possible shut-off.
Okay, you want to put a may in there? And then in that same vein, under subsection B, repeat offenders risk possible shut-off of the water surface. I guess that's, I hate to shut people off for irrigation water. You know,
Well, you could, that would be the fourth offense.
the fourth offense, right? So a repeat offender.
Again, you know,
It's just kind of a good heads up.
personally would shut off somebody's water, but I would want them to understand that it's a serious matter and they have to come and explain themselves to us, why they can't get it together.
Okay. And I
It
like
has
that
to
you,
be there just in case, yeah.
yeah, and I like that he put in the 500 fine for third or subsequent offenses. So if they don't, if they continue to repeat, not only do they risk that, but they've got another $500 fine for each offense. Now, is an offense per month? Or is it per day?
Every time you catch them. Yeah.
If you've been fined, and then you should take notice and stop doing it. And if you keep doing it day by day by day, I mean, it's going to get very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back though, Ness, Chris, I picked 30 days to remove a system.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing Cape Cod contractors, getting a phone call returned within 30 days might be tough. What do you think is reasonable?
I think 30 days is reasonable, but
Not practical.
I don't know if you could put some kind of discretion in there or something like that, 30 days.
A report back to us in 30 days, remove it or tell us why it hasn't been removed.
Correct, yeah. I mean, I can always just say, I'd work with anybody, especially 30 days, if I know it's shut off, I'm disconnected. I mean, they can go out there with a saw and do it,
Well,
you know, if they want. So I think 30 days is the proper way to go. And that way they can always say, you know what? We shut it off, it's disconnected, it's cut off, there's a space there. It's done.
so that's not really removal, that's disconnection. Do we want the pipes ripped out? Or we don't care about that as long as it's not being used? How do we know they don't reestablish it?
That's what I say, what if we put suspend usage? What if we put suspend usage and suspend use of system and disconnect within 30 days?
Disconnect system from the public water supply. Because they could reconnect it to their own irrigation well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good, I like that. So, what were the words, John?
Suspend usage and disconnect.
Suspend use of the system. Within 30 days.
And disconnect it.
And suspend use and disconnect.
From the
public water supply.
Yeah, I like that.
Within 30 days. So Chris, you could have you don't need a lawn irrigation company to come, you could just get a plumber to come and cut it.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Plumber can run in there and do it, you know, they could shut it off at the curb stop and do it with a hacksaw if they wanted to, or something like that, and just have a plumber come later and hook up to it. The only problem I have is if they disconnect it and everything else and it's gone, I mean, I shouldn't say it in a public meeting, but there's other ways. If they take it out below ground, I have no idea that it's happening. You know, the only reason it's kind of like where it is, it goes up is because it's a legal service and they put an atmospheric vent on it. And that's what plumbing code says you have to do. There are people who just run a pipe to the ground and run it to someplace down below and turn it on when they want to do something, turn it off. You know, and just that they've done it themselves. So someone that hooks up a hose on the ground and puts it up to the outside faucet, turns the outside faucet on, you'll go by and look and go, why is that hose going to the ground?
So it's some sort of a drip.
Yeah, something like it, yeah. So
Which is not an automatic irrigation.
right, we don't walk, I used to notice a lot more stuff when I walked around reading feeders on the side of the house than I do driving by the house now. But, yeah, there are different ways, and I can kind of remember the houses that used to do it
Well, no, but.
funky, and I could be looking by that, yeah. Well, no, by usage. Yeah.
Okay, so we have modified this to say, number one, suspend use and disconnect system from a public water supply within 30 days of notice from the department. Let's just say period there.
Yeah, just written evidence from the owner, that could be anything.
Written or photographic evidence.
Yeah, I mean.
How about just evidence
Evidence, yeah, whether they want me to come down and visualize it even.
of the system disconnection or removal?
Removal and failure to apply. What is it? Oh, yeah. What?
And let's take out optional installation of private well irrigation. That could be a number 4 for this section, A4. Could say the owner may wish to install.
I would make that number 3 and then the failure to comply.
I can't hear you.
Sorry, I would make that number 3 and move failure to comply.
Sure.
to number 4.
Okay. So with those changes, I would Second motion.
Do we want to read that? So because
Water, is there any water?
this is Katua water. That's Katua water. We're in a pandemic.
There's money in the
Oh.
bathroom, yeah. I don't know if there's any cups in there. There might be something in the back. Yeah. Is he going to meet Scott?
Scott's what we're gonna do.
So I have evidence that use of the system has been suspended and disconnected from the public water supply for number one, within 30 days of notice from the department.
So you combined 1 and 2?
I did.
Because I have 1.
Yeah.
as Suspend use and disconnect system from public water supply within 30 days of notice from the department.
Perfect.
Number 2 would then be provide evidence from the homeowner to the department of the system removal. Number 3.
Excuse me, John, of the system disconnection or.
Okay. And then number 3 would be owner may install private irrigation well at own expense. And then number 4 would be failure to comply with the removal within the specified compliance period may be.
Can we add from the public water supply to the end of the disconnect and removal? Number 2. So provide evidence from the owner to the department of the systems disconnection and or removal from the public water supply. Scott, are you hearing do you like it? Move. It's been moved and seconded that we move forward with this and move the question to a vote. So for the fines and enforcement as amended by Commissioner Robinson, myself, and with Jen's help, we've got the fines and enforcement provisions of this irrigation policy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yep. Good. Wrap it up. Put a bow on it.
High five, Scott.
High five, Scott. It was. It takes time. Hopefully we got it nailed down well so that we can move forward and do some good conservation. So do you want me to sign and Mark to sign the back page
Yeah,
here?
and then Scott, next time you're by the office, you can swing in and sign that, would be great. And I'll do the other ones. And then I'm gonna turn my speaker volume up, and we should be able to hear Scott, as long as nobody else talks. To talk about this. Give it a test, Scott.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Ooh,
Yes?
yeah, a little bit.
All right. How about if I speak up? Is that better?
Go ahead, Scott.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's the question? Source water protection? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't hear the prompt. So I just put can you hear me? All right. So I just put in the chat, but I'll just speak to it as well. I had a call with Bruce Young from Mass Rural Water this morning, at 7:30 a.m., I might add, with 4 of my Tufts graduate students, and we are off and running at preparing a source water protection plan. Some of the points that we discussed to focus on are a follow-up to Tom Cambereri's report, looking closely at the capture zones to the wells under various pumping scenarios, and looking at probable sources or threats of contamination, including septic systems. I think we've got 1 or 2 wastewater treatment plants that are in those areas, as well as road drainage and other road salting sources. Bruce Young from Mass Rural Water has quite a bit of experience in dealing with salt issues and road salt issues, so he's all over that one. And I think the students are going to focus or help him with that, as well as looking at some of the septic system wastewater issues and evaluating some options, including potentially installing some innovative and alternative septics to try to deal with some of those issues. They plan to have their work done in early December, which is the end of the semester. That'll come up quickly. So I would like to try to get a meeting scheduled just so that I can inform Bruce and the students of a target date. I told them that we usually meet on the 3rd Wednesday, but I'm thinking that might be pretty close to the holidays. So if we could establish a date, at least as a probable date, in that, because I would like to have them present the plan that night or that day, if that works for everybody. And then I can give updates. We can keep this on the agenda, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like, and I can give brief updates during October and November meetings.
Sounds great.
So do we know right now which December meeting might be the likely date? Because I'd like to be able to inform them.
All right, so the 15th is the 3rd Wednesday in December. Does that work for everybody?
I believe so. Are you on the still?
No, I'm unmuted. So I have a curricular chair meeting at the high school, but it's over at 4:30, so I can be here by 5:30. Are we thinking the same time? 5:30, the 15th,
Or
December
could
15th?
maybe in that might be a 20 to 30-minute presentation
And
with all
could-
the other items. I'm wondering maybe we could start at 5 o'clock on that date.
We can't hear you, Scott, anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If you could
Okay.
chat.
One second. Yep. Yeah.
He's asking for 5 p.m. start.
Sure. It's up to Tom.
Five would be tough on the 15th for me, just because of this.
Well, maybe we
Other
could,
meeting.
we could truncate some of the other reports then. In other words, just make
So you can keep it at 5:30.
How about 5:15?
5:30, you said you could do it, yeah.
5:30?
We can make that the only thing on the agenda.
I think, Mr. Chair, we could just move it up to the top of the meeting and just shorten all the other reports or even defer them to the following month. If this is that important.
He's gonna need about 45 minutes, it's 30 to 45 minutes to do that, so with stuff happening at 7, it might be worth
we'll put that as our primary agenda item and do it first. And then if we can get through the rest of the stuff, the water quality report, superintendent's report, we'll do that. If not, then we'll kick it, we'll kick it out to the next meeting. Does that make sense? Yeah, we could advertise it as a focused workshop on source water protection plan.
We talk the next meeting about it a little more too.
Yeah. All right, is there anything else on that? Scott, great job. Thank you. Way to do some recruiting. Love that. All right, any new business?
Any feedback on the private irrigation wells?
That should be in new business. Yeah, good. So we have a sign that was this designed by Commissioner Horsley?
Designed by committee.
Ms. Nash? Text? Reducing demands on public drinking water, private irrigation well use. I like it. So the idea is that we will make these signs up for anyone that puts in a irrigation well, so that the rest of the public realizes that it's going on, and that they're not irrigating outside of the moratorium, or they've not installed a new system, that sort of business, right?
And speaking with Blue Jeans, they said the cost for them, if we ordered 25 signs, would be about $18 a piece.
Does that come with a stand?
Just the wire.
So we have that in the budget,
Could come out of conservation.
500
We have
bucks.
conservation money,
Us.
$2,000 for conservation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. You want to check with Ray and see if he's good with that coming out of conservation? Just take it out of conservation.
I can make that decision.
Very good. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call for conservation, making sure we put out there and help out.
Do we need a motion on getting these printed or anything?
That's just an all budgetary thing.
Yeah,
If you want them, it's gonna help out here and everything else, so we can get it.
I think it'd
It might
be a good idea.
I'll just, once we do it, I'll tell the drill companies also afterwards, hey, it might be beneficial for you guys to go in there and talk to them about buying a couple. If you put a well into it, tell them, we'll give you a beautiful sign to put up front.
Give you a
so people can
sign.
tell you.
Right next to your
Yeah, house.
sign. Says who put it in. Right?
The text and the design.
Yeah. I think it pops pretty well.
Put some raindrops on there.
Some raindrops. You can't get too wordy with these things, right? You just want them to know that it's private irrigation well. And I think the blue text just adds some details for anybody that's walking by. So,
Correct.
looks good to me. Okay, go for it. Scott's got a thumbs up. Mark?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Looks good.
I don't think these signs will last that long in the weather, but I think it's nice to have people who are doing the right thing. They don't have to this way, they can if they want to. So
We'll ask them, yeah, if you want a sign, we'll put it out there. If you don't, if you want to hide when you're doing it, that's fine. But it'll kind of stop us from getting that phone call. This guy's out there running his water, and if somebody sees and says, no, I remember the Williams signs out front. It might help us, beneficial to us at a later date.
they can irrigate during a rainstorm if they want, as long as they're on a well.
If they want to.
We'll tell people Stop and
Recirculate.
Shop is not in Katuitt's area. When they're flooding their parking lot out there all day long with their broken sprinkler heads, how calm, don't call Katuitt anymore.
Yeah. Good. All right, any additional public comment?
None to be heard.
next meeting. And we've set one for December.
It's the 3rd.
Everybody around on the 20th?
October 20th.
I will be.
Want to stay with the Wednesday meetings?
Is the 7 o'clock, because it's a Wednesday, and if we met on a Tuesday with.
Yeah, it's every Wednesday. We'd have to look and see the schedule and find out who has what. I know the production committee has it on Mondays, I believe. Thursdays used to be our time. We changed it to Mondays because, was it you that had?
In September, there's a school meeting on the third Thursday, but it looks like Thursday.
I kind of like having a 7 o'clock hard stop, so.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. It's kind of our goal anyways, right? So Wednesday, the 20th, 5:30? Does that work? Scott? Yep. Good. All right.
5:30, okay with you, Mark? Did you say yes? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, October 20th, Wednesday, October 20th, full moon.
Well, I'm gonna be gone from the 12th to the 18th, so.
So you'll be back.
Just to let you know, I'll be back by then.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I don't know what kind of report I'll be able to give you. I'll be back by then.
That might be a very interesting
Just
one.
one thought.
I hope it's an interesting
Hold on. Scott says.
We hope to get
Oh, they
the
laminated
audio.
the signs. I'm not sure on that. I apologize. Just one thought, if we have a presentation on December 15th, this will be after,
Semester ends, and they will have to present by Zoom.
okay.
Would you want to try to
don't
push that
know.
to November?
Unless we did it Zoom only. If it has to be a workshop, I mean, we could always do it Zoom only, if you want to do it that way, and that way they could chime in from wherever they are.
What about December 8th, is what Scott's saying, that might work better, huh?
They might be able to come in person that night. But we can talk about it at the next meeting. You need to know tonight, or can we talk about it at the next meeting?
I can check on concerns.
Sounds good. Let me do that way, yeah.
Yeah, the 8th, I might have that environmental oversight committee meeting over in Mashpee. But they haven't, they've just been meeting through Zooms. Yeah, check their availability, both dates, that'd be great. All right, I think that's it for tonight.
I would say for a meeting here, they'd have to be live for the 8th. If we had to go Zoom, we could and advertise it as a workshop. only. Yeah.
Or you,
He was saying that at the 15th is after the end of the semester, so they could only go in Zoom, and we had trouble hearing him. We had the sound issues, so if we went without being in person altogether and put a workshop out, will be held by Zoom only because of everybody who's coming in. Unless, like,
it'd be
Paul
much nicer
said,
to do in person.
Yeah. Right. Would be much nicer to have it in person.
Yeah.
Correct.
So let's lean on them for the 8th. See if you can get them then. All right.
Did you get that okay? Did you get that okay, Scott? Lean on the 8th if you could. Okay.
Apparently, she's on screen, bringing messages.
Did you hear?
Okay.
Commissioner Robinson is bringing the messages.
We told all the students. Need a motion.
All right, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, all. That was quick. That was a great wrap.